Okay, 4.4 complex numbers. Let's go to this worksheet. So square root of negative 81. So you can write this like that. You could do 81 times negative 1. Then we can split it. Square root of 81 times square root of negative 1. Square root of 81 is just 9. Square root of negative 1, by definition, that's I. So we get 9i. Now that's a long way of doing it. Most time we just do this. You go, there's a negative there. Let's pull that out. Because you know square root of negative 1 is this I on the outside. Then you have square root of 121 still. Square root of 121 is 11. So I get 11i. And now most time we just go straight down to there. Like the next one. So I have I, square root of negative, and then square root of 100. So 10i. Negative 32 is a little different because I cannot break down 32. I mean, there's no square root of 32, that's what I mean. So I get I rad 32. Then I'm going to break down 32. I like to start small. 2 and 16. Well, square root of 16 is 4. So I get 4i. That stays in the inside. Rad 2. Let's move on. 4i times negative 3i. If we multiply them together, we get negative 12 times I squared. I squared by definition is negative 1. So we get negative 12 times negative 1, which gets us 12. Over here we can multiply all three of them, so we just do 2 at a time. So that's going to give us 21i squared. I squared is negative 1. So I get negative 21. We still have the 2i there. So I get negative 42i. Now, I to the 0, I to the 1. I's compares, so like the general idea here is anything to the 0 power is 1. Anything to the first power is itself. I squared we talked about is negative 1. And then I cubed, what is that? Well, it's just I cubed. It's just I squared times I to the first. So I squared is negative 1. I to the first is I. So I get negative I. And those are only 4 options we have. If you get I to the 4th, I to the 4th, same thing as I squared. Just keep going around circle and circle. So I to the 11th, all we got to do is divide by 4, because there's only 4 options. And you get 11 divided by 4 is 3, 2, minus 3, remainder 1. So I get I to the 11th, just the same thing. All we care about is the remainder as I to the 1st. And I to the 1st is just I. So the answer is just I. Look at I to the 40th. So we're just going to divide that by 4. And I get 10 remainder 0. So again, I don't care about the 10. This tells you how many times it goes round. All I care about is the remainder. So I to the 40th is the same thing as I to 0. And I to the 0 power is 1. So I to the 40th is the same thing as 1. So this next one's here. You want to add these things up. So you just add like terms. Just like adding x's and y's. So I get negative 3 from the constant of the real parts plus 2i from the imaginaries. There we go. Multiply, just distribute. So 3 times 2 is negative 6, negative 2. 3 times 4 is 12i. Distribute there. So I get negative 4i. There. Gets me positive 8i squared. Now don't forget I squared, it's that one we have to change. That's negative 1. We never change that. We do change the I squared all the time though. So I actually have this. Let me rewrite it. I can add these up. Plus 8i minus 8, right? Negative 1 times 8. So then I cut up these. I get negative 14 plus 8i. Notice I always put the I on the back side. That's just proper notation. Constant first. Real first, then imaginary. Let's solve some of these. Solve each equation. So I only have one x squared, so I'm just going to get the x squared by itself. So it's minus 4. Divide by 4. X squared equals negative 1, square root. X equals square root of negative 1 is just I. Plus or minus I, actually, because it takes square root. Over here, same idea, there's only one x, so get it by itself. So 2x squared equals negative 50. Divide by 2. X squared equals negative 25. Square root it. I don't know, square root. That's what I do, it's 5. So I rad 5i. And then took a square root, it's plus or minus. Because you're solving to plus or minus. Over here, now I just want to factor. That's like review. So that's all this is review. So there's no number of front, so I'm just looking at negative 14. I need two things to multiply to get 14, but I have to get negative 5. So that's 7 and 2. I can decide it's plus or minus. Now the middle term is a negative, so that means a bigger number should be negative. So negative 7 and 2. I add those up, I get negative 5. So all I gotta do is this. There we go, factored. This one, the next one has a number in front, so I'm gonna multiply these two terms first. Negative 18w squared. I need to find a combination of multiply to get negative 18, but add to get 3. So that's 6 and 3. 6w, 3w. Again, I need a positive 3, so it's going to be a bigger number to positive. So I add those up, I get 3w. So now I'm just going to replace this with that. We get this 9w squared plus 6w minus 3w minus 2. Right, so 3w got replaced and got replaced by this. Now we're going to factor by grouping. These have a 3w in common. I get 2w plus 3w, not 2w. That's ugly w also. There you go. So 3w plus 2. Bring down the sign always. These have nothing in common, but you can always pull out a 1. And then negative 3w by negative 1 is 3w. Negative 2 divided by negative 1 is 2. These match. 3w plus 2 times 3w minus 1. Done. Let's move on to the next ones. Find the values of x and y, then make an equation that makes the equation true. Okay, so here's the key. Remember, when you talk about complex numbers, we have a real part and we have an imaginary part. So since there's an equal sign there, the imaginary part has to match the imaginary part here. So in this case, 2y has to equal negative 6, right? Because they're both imaginary. They both have an I next to it. And then over here, the non-imaginary, the real part, has to match the real part here, the part without an I. So x plus 1 has to equal 3. And then I need to solve it. X equals 2, divided by 2. Y equals negative 3. Alright, so if I'm doing that over here, let's look at the real part first. What has no I? This part. On this part of the equation. What has no I over on this side? The 7. So those are both the real parts of the equation. So I have 4b minus 5 equals 7. And then over here, the imaginary part is this. And that has to equal this guy. So negative a minus 3 has to equal negative 8. Then you just solve mathematically. Negative a equals negative 5. A equals 5. Plus 5 plus 5. 4b equals 12. Divided by b. B equals 3. Divided by b, divided by 4. B equals 3. The current in one part of a series circuit is 5 minus 3 J amps. The current in another part of the series circuit is 7 plus 9 J amps. Add these complex numbers to find the total amount of circuit. So 7, 9 plus 9 J, I guess I. Plus, then I'm going to add it to the other one, 3i. So we just have like terms. 12 plus 5i. Done. Do some more simplification. So right, remember here, you want to distribute properly. 1 gets multiplied by both of these. So 1 minus 2i. And then 2i gets multiplied by both of these, and I get plus 2i minus 4i squared. By 2 times 2, I times I. Hey, these cancel out. I squared is negative 1, so I get 1 plus 4, which is 5. Right, negative 4 times negative 1 gets me positive 4. I to the 25th. Remember, all we care about here is that there's 4 options, so you divide the power by 4, and all you care is about the remainder. And that is 25 divided by 4 is 6. Remainder 1. So this is the same thing as saying I to the first, and I to the first is just itself, I. 63, same idea. 63 divided by 4. 123, so 5. Remainder 3. So it's the same thing as saying I to the third. Remember what I third was all the way back here? -1. Negative I. Sorry, what did I say? -1. Negative I. I to the 41. 41 divided by 4. Only 4 options. That's right, now it's 10 remainder 1. So it's the same thing as saying I to the first, which is I. If we move on, we have the complex fraction. In that case, we have to multiply by the conjugate. It's the only way to get rid of the I in the bottom. So 1 minus I. 1 minus I. Distribute. On top we get this. On the bottom, it's a difference of 2 squares, but let's just take it step by step in case we're not sure. Just multiply it out. So I get this. Don't forget I squared is -1. So on top I get 2i -1, so plus 2. On the bottom, these cancel out. I get 1 minus -1, I squared is -1, which is just 1 plus 1, which is 2. If you want to be pro, you could factor everything out by 2. So you get that. The next one, square root of -10 times square root of 24. Well, the first thing I would do is multiply these together. So we change multipliers so you see a little better. And you'd get 240. No i's, it's a breakdown. So I like to start small. So 2 and 120, then 2 and 60. So there's a right pair. 2 and 30, 2 and 15, another pair, 3 and 5. So we have a pair of 2s on the outside from this guy. We have a pair of 2s on the outside from this guy. And we have no pairs, so left on the inside. Simplify it. There you go. 240 broken down. This one right here. So same idea as the one right here. Multiply by the conjugate to get rid of the I on the bottom. So 2 minus 4i. 2 minus 4i. Remember, we can multiply both top and bottom by the same number. On top, you just distribute. So I get 10 minus 20i. On the bottom, so we can multiply it out. It's a difference of 2 squares. I'll do difference of 2 squares on this one because I run out of space. It's going to be 4 minus 16i squared. Right, it's like a minus ba plus b. And you get a squared minus b squared. I squared is -1, so I get 4 plus 16, or just 20. Like that. And the last couple, let's solve. Here, notice there's only one x, so I'm just going to solve for the x. 2x squared equals -10. Divide by 2. X squared equals -5. Square root. X equals plus and minus. I can pull the I out, but the 5 has to stay. And there you go, 2 answers. The next one has 2 x's. So you can't solve for an x, you just gotta set equal to 0. So subtract 7x from both sides, I get 5x squared minus 7x plus 2 equals 0. So now I'm going to factor it. Multiply those together, you get 10x squared. I need two things to multiply to get 10x, but I have to get -7. That's -2x and -5x. Plug that in for the middle. 5x squared minus 2x minus 5x plus 2 equals 0. Factor by grouping. Pull an x out. Oh, messed up. Always bring in the middle sign, so negative. They have nothing in common, so put a 1 outside. -5x divided by -1 is 5x. Positive 2 divided by -1 is -2. These match. 5x minus 2, x minus 1 equals 0. And then we just split and solve. 5x minus 2 equals 0. 5x equals 2. X equals 5 over 2. Or x minus 1 equals 0. Add 1 to both sides. X equals 1. So there we go. That's the worksheet.